It's that time again, a little day drinking and tarot. I am all about transforming today. And in this episode and this segment, we are going to be talking about one of my favorite cards. Can't wait to share it with you. We're going to check out a new place called The Living Room, and this is in Chandler, Arizona. And secret, I have actually been here once before and loved it so much. I thought it would be the absolute perfect place to do this particular card at this particular place. So come on and join me. So let's talk a little transformation and get a little day drinking in. So I am here now at the living room, and it is so cool. It's set up exactly like a living room where there are a number of couches, and it's supposed to feel really calming and relaxing. They've got some really cool music in the background. It's a great aesthetic. And I'm actually meeting a couple of friends here, but they did not want to be on camera. So I came here a little bit early to do the episode. And sadly, none of the servers or bartenders are game for being on camera either. We live in this world where everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. And for some reason, I'm having a difficult time finding people who will just kind of talk about the wine on camera. But such is life, and we adapt. So my server Carissa has decided to go and pick out a great wine for me that fits with our card for this segment of Day Drinking and Tarot, and the card is the Empress. And in all of my transformation, I've chosen to connect with the Empress today, tell you some fun stories about my personal journey and what's going on there. So let's see what wine Carissa has chosen to describe the Empress. And let me tell you what the Empress is all about. She's about sexuality, sensuality, abundance, creativity. She's all about joy. She wants to have fun. She's connected to Venus energy. So beauty, money, finances, all that good fun, love, and stuff. But she's got a little bite to her from time to time. She's the person that says, come on into my space. What is mine is yours. But she's going to say, there's the bathroom, there's the kitchen, there's the bedroom. There are baskets at the back door. Help yourself to whatever is in my garden. But I'm not going to cook for you. I'm not going to clean for you. I'm letting you know where everything is because I want to be a part of this as well. And it always makes me think about weddings, the old school weddings where you would hear all the time about the bride and groom, how they didn't really remember much about their wedding. They didn't get a chance to experience the wonderful DJ or the great string quartet that they, hired for the occasion because they were so busy running around saying thank you to their guests and making sure that everybody else is taken care of. And I want to say the more modern approach to weddings is, hey, we're going to be on the dance floor, come and chit chat with us, or we're going to be on the beach at this particular island, come and join us, for some fun in the sun. But we want to experience and enjoy our wedding as well. So I feel like that's a little bit about the message of the Empress. So let's see what Carissa's got for us today. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. Carissa chose a Cabernet Sauvignon, which of course is one of my absolute favorite wines to drink. So check this deliciousness out. This is Austin Hope, and she gave me a couple of notes on why she chose this particular wine. She said that this was the one from Paso Robles that really called to her when I described to her about the Empress. She said that it's bold, it's upfront, but it's also delicious. And I thought that's really fitting for this particular card, because that's exactly who the Empress is. She's bold, she's larger than life, she wants to have fun and be out and about in the world. She's going to tell you like it is. She's going to call it out. She's not necessarily going to, like I said, do things for you always, but she's going to participate. She's so welcoming and so inviting, and I love the deliciousness. So let's take a sip and see what we got going on. Oh, this is my happy place. Anything to do with cabs, it's like a meal in a glass. And that's what I always say is my absolute favorite way to experience a glass of wine. A meal in a glass. Okay. So let's have a little chit chat about the Empress and how this ties in to that super crazy Phoenix journey that I am on, and that we are all a part of, and all in some capacity and phase of the Phoenix in our lives. So for me, as you guys know, I recently moved to Phoenix, to Arizona, my happy place, and I love the desert. And it has been quite a journey. And I was really excited to connect with the Empress card today, because I was thinking about, look at all of the amazing abundance and creativity that has occurred in the time that I've been here, but also in previous times that I have been to the desert, and why I feel this desert sort of called to me at the time that it did, and why I'm here today. And one of those things is I like to talk about the desert as though it is my soul path and soul journey. I can go to the beach. I love the beach. I love a beach. I love the sand. I love being close to the ocean, not necessarily in the ocean. I don't like to go into water that I can't see the bottom of, because, it just fucking freaks me out. Let's just put it out there. And from a psychic perspective, I'm pretty sure that I have been killed in the water in numerous ways. So I'm done with water. I'll look at it and it's really pretty, but if I can't see the bottom of it, these toesies are not going in there. So whenever I have gone for a relaxing, refreshing, cleansing beach trip, I always get a good month out of that, where I feel more connected, and I'm like settled, and maybe even a little more grounded, and feeling a little more like myself. Then when I go to the desert, it's a whole different ballgame. It's like a soul recharge. So about 2 years ago, I took a trip out here to Arizona with one of my best friends, E. And what I realized was I was still really in the throes of depression, really in that Phoenix growing phase, having no vision, feeling no sense of creativity of any kind, and just feeling really lost. And we came here. And actually, ironically, the place that we chose to stay, and she chose it, is 10 minutes from where I live now. So, synchronicity, things just sort of make sense. They connect. When the dots are connected, it's always just kind of mind blown. And we were only here for 5 days. And in that 5 days, I created a complete membership system. I created my Find Your Phoenix personality test, my personality quiz that I talk about it with all the time. Basically, what I want to say to you is being in the desert and being here opened up those creative pathways, and it allowed kind of where I'm at today, where I do talk a lot about transformation. It kind of was the birthplace of that. I was always talking about transformation in various different forms and guises, but never really as a focal point, never really as I connected it to my passion, to something that I'm really passionate about helping other people with. And so going through that, and in 5 days creating about 4 years worth of work, and then going back home and implementing that was just huge. And it literally woke me right up. It brought me back to life. And that is the marker that I can say I can go back to, that I want to say was sort of the chain reaction to why I'm living here now. I had visited Phoenix 1,000,000,001 different times. It wasn't like it was a big surprise. And actually we stayed at a resort. So it wasn't even like we were doing mountains and, all sorts of things. But it was the energy of being here and being in the desert that brought me back to life. And I really believe on that trip, my experience was that when I came back, I realized, oh my God, I'm recharged at a soul level, not just, 1 month here and 1 month there. I'm literally recharged at a soul level. And that kept me motivated for a good year and a half. And I thought in that moment, if this is how much I can produce in 5 days in this environment, imagine the creativity, imagine the growth, imagine what I'm going to produce living here full time. And that was the seed that was planted. And I feel like that is exactly what we're talking about here with the Empress. You can see in this card, she's around wheat fields and she's got her harvest. She's got her abundance with her. She's done the work to plant the seeds and to grow the harvest. And she's also in that space of enjoying it. And that's what brings me to today. I am absolutely enjoying this cab, and I think it's so fitting that Carissa chose my absolute favorite type of varietal to drink to celebrate that Empress energy, to celebrate the beauty. And it's such a beautiful day out here. I mean, it's beautiful every day here, but we've had some colder weather. We've had some colder times here, and I've not felt like I've wanted to go out and be seen and participate in life. And today, that's the day. And so it is such an Empress day. It's such an Empress day. So that is our day drinking and tarot for this segment. And I'm so glad that you guys are taking this journey with me. I'm going to leave you with a thought. Where in your life are you embodying and embracing the energy of the Empress? And maybe the question is, if you're not, I would offer to you, where in your life would you like to embrace and embody the Empress energy a little bit more? Because I'm going to say to you folks, now is the time, seize the day. Don't wait. Don't wait. Live it now. We're all in this transformation together. Let's just do it. So I get asked all the time from clients, this weird thing happened to me. Am I crazy or am I psychic? And I always want to say to them, no, you're not crazy. You're absolutely experiencing psychic phenomenon. So let's explore if you have some weirdness going on in your life that isn't saying that you're crazy, but actually means that you got some psychic ability. Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to our Black Feather Couture Divining a VIP Life segment of Am I Psychic? And what is this all about? The Am I Psychic has come through because I have so many clients for years. I've been doing this is my 12th year. I have been doing this for a long time. I've seen so many different people who are like, oh my God, I had this most bizarre dream and this, one aspect of the dream came through or came true. Am I psychic? Does that mean I'm psychic? I hear these voices from time to time and what they say ends up happening. Like, am I psychic? So I thought we would put together a little segment on this topic of Am I Psychic? And this is our first one. And I actually reached out to a couple of different clients to submit some questions. So Keone is going to read one of these questions and we're going to answer it. And we're going to, I want to say just to have the opportunity to learn from one another, to get into that space and that place so that you guys, when you are having these experiences, you're not thinking you're cuckoo and feeling like you got to put the cuckoo back in the clock. You're understanding, no, this is legitimate. This is a psychic experience. Or no, this isn't a psychic experience. This is something else. And so therefore I need to go in a different direction to seek answers on why this is happening. So Keone, so great to be having you on the show again.
Yeah, reading is my strong suit, right? So you keep making me do it. Yeah, great. All
good.
It's a good segment. I definitely want to do this segment because I had this happen to me. My psychic experience is I have events that I already saw when I was little. And watching Agatha, I saw how one of the witches, I forget her name, she lives her life out of order. She zips through different parts of her life.
Yeah.
When I was little, I had a bunch of daydream. What do they call them? Daydreaming? Yeah. Not when you're asleep, when you're picturing things. So two big ones, and I never remember them until they actually happen.
Oh.
So when I was little, I pictured myself being a little taller, being a little wider, in a classroom reading a newspaper, and there was a large Caucasian woman sitting behind me and a very, very old Hispanic lady sitting behind me. And I'm like, well, that's a weird daydream. Well, fast forward 10 years later in middle school, I'm reading a current event, and my teacher behind me is the same large Caucasian woman and the old Hispanic lady. And I paused in the middle of my reading, and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." And I remembered seeing that already.
Wow.
I also saw me standing in this camouflage-like suit talking to a bunch of people in front of this green bag that was dripping water, and I was standing in front of a brick building. Well, fast forward, when I joined the Army, I'm in South Carolina at boot camp. I'm standing in front of the soldiers in my uniform in front of a blister bag, which is a large green bag full of water that was dripping. And all of the buildings in Fort Jackson are mostly brick colored buildings. And again, I pause every time it happens, and someone always goes, "Are you okay?" That's always the thing, like a movie. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I saw this already.
Yeah.
So I cannot remember any of the things that happened. So now what happens is the last couple times, something bad happened in that daydream. And when that situation happens, I pause immediately, and I'm trying to remember what happened. I don't want the bad thing to happen. And I'm like, and so I try to change my reaction, and then nothing bad happens. And I'm like, did I just fix that?
You did. You absolutely did. And what I keep hearing in my head is this is similar to the experience of deja vu. Like yours is a dream, a waking vision. So that's different than deja vu. But your psyche, your younger self was giving your older self kind of the future forward heads up that, hey, here's a glimpse into your future. Here's a glimpse into who you are, who you become, the experiences that you have. And we're giving it to you now because this is going to give you proof when you're older and you're a little more jaded. And maybe you're not as open to understanding the psychic realm. And you're going to be looking for proof. You're going to be needing explanation before you, I want to say, dive on in, right? You're going to be the skeptic. And so we have already planted the seeds in your youth so that you can have the validation in your now. And I love that you said in all of these experiences, you also had something that was coming up and that now you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. So let me change it.
Well, that's the
magic.
Well, that was the last two, because what happens is I never remember it until it fully happens.
Right.
So now it's already happened, so there's nothing for me to do. But a couple of times I've been able to quick pause and go, wait a minute, I remember, but I can't remember because it's all a blur.
Right. But your intention in those moments is don't make the bad thing happen. Don't make the bad thing happen.
Yeah.
You're gathering all of your energy, right? When we have these visions and these dreams and then all of a sudden it comes to you, it's like, woo, and you're like, okay, the world needs to stop for a minute. I need to put a stopper on time because this is something that I'm really wanting to pay attention to. My guides are drawing my attention to this. And what we put our attention and focus to, we manifest. So you're paying attention to the vision, and then you're saying, oh yeah, there was something that was undesired that was supposed to happen, and I choose not to have that experience. So
Thank God it was
because
only
of that
two.
intuition, you shifted up, and that's power.
Thank God it was only two so far. They're so spread. They're so
There have
spread.
been more, and you just don't remember the negative part of it.
The problem is they're so spread out.
Yeah,
They're so spread out. But a lot of them were mostly just visions. They weren't like events, except for the two that I can kind of remember that I had to pause. But a lot of them are just like, huh, I saw that. Or maybe it's my older self went back in a time machine and I'm just whispering these things in my ear. Who knows?
Hey, anything is possible. We're multidimensional beings. And so we think very linearly. A plus B equals C, 1 plus 2 equals 3, right? Like you take this step, then this step, then this step, then this step. But in the spiritual and the metaphysical world, that's not how it works. In the psychic realm, that's not how it works. Time doesn't really exist. So you're joking about it, but who knows?
No, I'm not joking. I'm being for real, but settle down. I just got a handle on math at 46, and now you're messing me up. Okay.
Oh, dude, I suck at math. Like, there is no math going on here with me. What did I just say? 1 plus 2 equals 3. I don't even know if that's true. Actually, that is true.
No, it is true. So, you know what? I think that and I may be off fetch, when I was having those, if I knew someone like you, I probably could have helped hone those skills, and I'd probably be doing something like you're doing. So I think when we have those and we're not able to nurture those, we kind of lose that ability. That's just my thought. I don't know if it's true or not.
I don't know that you necessarily lose it, but it's kind of like a muscle. If you don't work it out,
that's what I mean.
Doesn't reach its fullest potential.
Right.
I didn't have any support or guidance until I left home, and then it was like the universe bringing different people into my path. It wasn't that I was seeking it out. I just felt different, and I felt really called to different things, but didn't know why.
It seeked you out, because I would be unresponsible with these powers. Okay, all right. I don't trust myself with these powers. Okay,
sure. You want to choose the light side of the force. You want to be.
Yeah, I'd be yelling at my guides all day. I don't want to know about romance. Give me the damn lottery numbers already.
Right, make me rich. Make me rich.
All right, so that was actually, and the reason why I brought that up is because Charlene 1212-2 was asking, is deja vu a psychic ability?
Okay. Well, that's great. So the deja vu, I like to say, is kind of a glimpse into a parallel life or a parallel universe. So you do get a sort of a precognitive snapshot of something that has transpired with another version of self or a parallel life and universe. And you get the deja vu in the moment, because that's the moment when you made a different choice than that other person, that other version of you or soul aspect of you. So you're at a choice point, and they might say yes while you make the no choice. They might say option A and you say option B. But it's because the two of you, or that soul energy, the you, has already made that choice point. And now you're going into those respective choices. It's absolutely psychic. Because we make tons of choices and we don't have deja vu around that. But when you remember it, when you have a deja vu moment, that's really significant. Your guides are really trying to bring your attention and awareness to the fact that maybe this is a time where you're jumping a timeline. Maybe this is a time where you are making a different choice, and the choice that you're making now is pivotal to where you're going to end up moving forward. Not in a dun-dun-dun kind of way, but more so in the way of, this is significant, right? This is significant. It's maybe an either or, not a both and at that point. So I hope that makes some sense to you. Said Charlotte?
Yes.
Yes. So Charlotte, what a great question. I mean, spot on with that. Spot on with that.
You're going to love this one.
We all have deja vu, right? So that lends credence to the fact that we all have psychic power.
You're going to love this one. Jacqueline Smith said, I can always tell when I'm about to be fired from a job. Am I psychic?
Oh my God. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And of course, there can be some reason involved in that. There can be some obvious, I like to say 3D reasoning around that, or expression around that. Like I said, A plus B equals C. You're not doing your job. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing the other thing, and you're not getting the results. Yeah. But it is your spidey sense that's letting you know you're being prepared. Hey, something's going on at work, and just prepare yourself. Start looking for another job, or you start to feel like maybe it's time for me to explore that business venture that I've had. Or someone crosses your path and says, hey, do you want to come work for me? And it was totally out of the blue and unexpected, and you're like, well, I've got a job and I'm perfectly content in my job. And then all of a sudden something shifts and you go, actually, you know what? Let me explore that, because I think that the universe is trying to tell me something. So yes, Jacqueline, you are psychic.
I'm so glad you answered that question and not me.
Well, of course.
Because as a manager for many, many years and a boss, I can tell Jacqueline knows why she's about to get fired every time she gets fired. Jacqueline, stop being late. Stop calling out. Okay. And stop having an attitude when you do something wrong.
Right. Stop being ornery. Stop being difficult. Right.
No, I'm just kidding, Jacqueline. I don't know you. You could be the sweetest thing on the
planet. I feel like she's the sweetest thing.
I feel like she asked that
when somebody's doing some nonsense and shenaniganery behind the scenes, and she's the one who's going to get the brunt of that. And God, I've been there too.
Yeah, because I just sensed the sarcasm in that question. Like, girl, you ain't doing the right thing. That's why you're getting fired all the time.
Yeah, personal responsibility. Yeah, you're psychic, but also own your shit. Own your shit. I love it. This is a segment that is all for my fellow starseeds, light workers, sensitives, healers, empaths. We are talking about the psychic realm. Color is yet another tool that can help us. Shalom all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to Beyond the Cards. And for this segment, we are doing Color Me Psychic. Now, what exactly does that mean? Well, in case you didn't know this, color carries energy. And we all know that I am all about the Phoenix. I'm all about energy. I'm all about transforming your life, all that jazz. And color is a big part of that. And I could never figure out why color was such a big thing, such an important thing to me, even as a kid. Yeah, some of it's my astrology. I've got a Libra rising, and Librans like everything to be beautiful and, to kind of have their place and all that stuff. But I was always really drawn to specific colors. Purple was my favorite. It still is my favorite color, but it was my favorite color as a kid. And I would be drawn to particular shades of purple, but could never figure out why. And it wasn't until I started my spiritual journey and started to explore energies and things of that nature that it started to make some sense. So I have this incredible deck. You may already be familiar with it, The Secret Language of Color. And I've had this deck forever. I want to say this was one of the first decks that I was drawn to, one of the first Oracle decks that I was drawn to when I finally sort of embraced my psychic side and really started to explore. And so this is a great card deck, because what I'm going to pull here is a card that's going to help you to maybe apply this for the month and to see, sort of what we need to know about this this particular color energy. And I'm going to read from her messaging, and then I'm also going to give you my own messaging, because, otherwise, what's the point, right? So when we are tapping in this month, what is a color frequency, a color energy that can support us as we are pursuing our own paths? Oh, I love it. We got red. And the message here is free yourself from pain. And you guys know I'm a number girl, so we also have the number 30, which is a 3, which is co-creation and collaboration. So When we're talking about this red energy and free yourself from pain, the red energy and the red color is connected to the chakra system. And whether you follow the 7-star chakra system, the 13-star chakra system, or whatever other system is out there with chakras, as chakras are energy centers in our bodies that connect our emotional states with our physical and energetic states. They're often represented by the colors of the rainbow. Red is the root chakra. And in the 7-star chakra system, the root chakra is the first chakra. It's seated at the base of our spine. And the concept here is I am safe, I am secure, I am grounded. I have all of my resources around me and I have all of my needs met. I not only survive, I thrive. And with all of these key words, if you are listening to me right now and you're going, yeah, I don't feel any of that shit, then you know that red is a color that you really want to embrace and embody this month, because red is going to support that energy and that feeling for you. Now, grounding in the metaphysical world, I want to say, is almost like overused. Like it's a sort of a standard out there. And so I think sometimes we can easily dismiss what grounding is because it's kind of like an eye roll. Yeah, I need to be more grounded. Okay, I'll go out and walk barefoot, or I'll, hug the tree or whatever. But when the red energy comes up, it really wants to support you, because what's transpiring for you is either you're not grounded because you're feeling some pain in the body, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, or energetic or spiritual pain. You're wanting to extricate from the body. You're wanting to disassociate. You're wanting to, float around in the ethers and be anywhere other than here. But here's the thing. Our body is not only our psychic antenna that helps us with communication with our divine dream teams, but it's also the vehicle through which we live this life, through which we live our purpose. So, leaving the body, sure, every once in a while we can, go on a little exploration, an expose in our minds. But at the end of the day, it's important to come back in the body, because if you're not grounded in the body, you're not going to manifest into the physical any of those dreams, goals, and desires that you currently have or that you want to live out your life with. So the red energy this month can really help you and support you in those endeavors. Okay, so here, I guess, let me give a little bit of an analogy. I just this past week had 2 experiences that were, I want to say, like around and around the merry-go-round we go, where this is a cycle and pattern that I've been in for a while, that I keep thinking that I've broken the pattern and cycle, and then the universe brings me yet one more thing. And I'm like, son of a bitch, when am I ever going to be done with this? And it can easily trigger me to go into a little bit of a why me, a victim status, right? Why me? Why is this happening again? What is it that I'm missing? What message am I not getting? And it can be very defeatist. I had moments this week where I just felt like, what the fuck is the point? What does it all mean? Why do I even bother putting in all this effort if I'm still having the same experiences, right? And then I realized, I've not been paying attention to my body. I've been neglecting my body. I've not been eating well. I've not been eating in the ways that I know, and the patterns that I know I need to eat in order to feel better in my body and about myself. And I've also felt disconnected with my dream team on a personal level. I'm never disconnected when I'm tapping into other people. This is always, like we have to look within, right? And so I'm just keeping it real. There are times when I'm not doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing to maintain my practice. And so, I'm wearing pink today, but I actually I have 2 red shirts, because red is not usually a color that I wear. I had 2 red shirts, and I have a jasper crystal. I almost said jasper quartz. There's no such thing. A jasper crystal that is red with some kind of dark specks throughout it. And I realized in that moment when I had these 2, sort of tower moments, I'm like, okay, I got to get back in the body. I have to get back in the body. And there's a part of me that's resisting that and not wanting to be. So what did I do? I went right into the red. I started wearing that jasper crystal. I started meditating a little bit with that crystal. Even if I couldn't get into a deep meditation with it, I just sat with it for 5 minutes and got really quiet. I wore those red shirts and I set the intention to really feel the energy, to allow the energy of those red colors to support me as I break these patterns and cycles once and for all, to support my desire to reconnect again, to be in the body again, to appreciate what my body does for me in this lifetime. So freeing yourself from pain. If you can relate to my story, or if you've got a different story, please put it in the comments. I would love to hear that, because we're all on this journey. We all have very unique experiences that we're going through, and there's not a single person on this planet who hasn't had a moment where they've disassociated, right? And I'm not talking like a clinical disassociation. I'm talking about when you get lost in your head. You get lost in your mind. You're not physically present with the body. How many times have you been la-la-laing and you burn your hand when you're cooking because you're not present? You're not grounded. So that's what that red is all about. And we can co-create this. We can work with the universe. So that's why I'm looking at the number 30. We can work with the universe to help us out with this. And when we ask, we receive. So don't forget to ask, right? Okay, here's our message. Free yourself from pain. Red contains unlimited energy, vitality, and power. That's true. I should have even talked about that. When we have that association to red, what do we think? We think power, strength, sometimes anger, sometimes passion. There are so many different connotations or associations to this color. So pick the one that resonates with you and make it work for you. It is red contains unlimited energy, vitality, and power. It can help to draw money and prosperity into your life. Like I said, you can't manifest shit if you're not in the body. If you're always in the head and you just stay in the head, your ideas cannot take root, okay? It is a powerful agent for healing blood disorders and improving circulation. Of course, our blood is red, right? Rust comes from the earth, earthbound. Red has been used to heal diseases, dry up sores or wounds, warm cold areas of your body, and reduce pain. So if you are in a real situation where you've got a lot of physical pain as well, wrap it in red. Bring a red crystal around the area of the wounding. Call in red light. There's infrared light healing that is out there right now. Get an infrared machine or go for an infrared sauna. If you live in anywhere near a larger city or a bigger city, you can find a place that has an infrared sauna. So, check it out. Red helps to release adrenaline into your blood and stimulates mental and physical energy. What I'm being shown is when we are connected to our baser human aspects, maybe instinctual, why do a lot of people, I almost said men, but women do this too, but more often men, why do people fight? When they see the sight of blood, some people are really activated by the sight of blood. It's like it turns their testosterone up, right? So blood is an activator. Red, the color red, is an activator. Thus, red can assist with releasing depression. Ooh, now that's a big one, right? How many of us can say you suffer from depression from time to time, or all the time, or more often than not, right? Red is going to help you with that. Red is going to support you because it reminds you of the life force that is coursing through your veins. It helps you to feel more alive and more in the body. Use a red sword of light to heal on all levels. And then she has this little exercise. So let's try the little exercise today. Free from pain. Imagine you have a red sword of light. At the sharpest point of the sword, there is a red star of light, which has incredible healing power. When the star touches anything that is sick, it begins to dissolve the sickness out of your body.
Visualize touching different parts of your body which need healing with the red sword. Now, if you're in perfect health and optimum health, what I would say is use the red light and use this imagery to be preventative. Put that red light in your body to ward off illness and disease, right? Use the sword to heal diseases, dry up sores or wounds, warm cold areas, and reduce pain. Also use the red ray to cleanse the blood and increase circulation. So red rays, I've always been kind of interested, but never really took like an official class or course to learn about the rays. But so I can just tell you intuitively, rays are all, it's a metaphysical modality that basically, to me, a ray is a frequency of light that you can use. And we have associated different archangels, different ascended masters, different beings with each of those rays on the color spectrum. So that's what they mean by using the red ray. So like I literally use it, if I'm going to work with a ray, I picture in my mind like it's a laser beam, right? And then I allow that laser beam of whatever color it is to kind of do what I need it to do, go to that part of the body or whatever the case may be. Bathing oneself in red light for short periods of time can also alleviate depression. And here is her mantra: divine intelligence, allow your healing, mending light to move through my mind and body and regenerate it so that I can return to a state of vibrant health. So, folks, Color Me Psychic. This absolutely is another psychic modality that you can use. I know of a handful of people who receive their psychic guidance through color. And I'm going to tell you, each one of them always comes to me when we're working through that, sort of psychic ability, and they are ashamed to talk about it, or they feel like, I'm not getting anything like what you're saying I'm supposed to get. And I'm like, there's no supposed to about it. But if you're getting colored, if you're getting red, or you're seeing a lot of red out there this month, pay attention, because your guides are speaking to you. There's energy and frequency and communication with the color. So if you're a person who doesn't see things or hear things or feel things, but you envision or just know color when it shows up, lean into that. Pay attention to it and ask yourself, what does the color red mean for me? And that might change from moment to moment. That's okay. It can change from moment to moment. It's filled with information. It's filled with the juicy goodness of whatever it is your guides are trying to convey. So that is our Color Me Psychic. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I hope you guys have the most amazing month. Breathe in the red, bathe in the red, swim in the red, and see how it changes your life. If you like what you see here, please feel free to like, subscribe, and click the bell on my YouTube channel. And for more guidance and support like this, I encourage you to click on the link below and join my completely free Black Feather community. All the support and guidance you can handle. Transform well.